In its second season, the Dunlop RT2000s have established themselves as the most spectacular saloons witnessed in this country for years. Today at the Irish Motor Racing Club's meeting on the intermediate circuit at Mondello, David Collier is on pole position, but the news for the Dubliner is not all good.
Halfway through the session I went off, we were struggling a little bit, and second gear went, so I had to hold it in second gear for every corner. And we said, fuck it, I said I'll do a lap, I'll go for it. And we did a lap there and got pole position by, I'm not sure how much, but got a good lap in, and just as I came out of the bottom corner after doing that lap, the gearbox exploded.
The Dunlop RT2000 race takes place over 15 laps on the much-loved intermediate circuit, almost 2 miles of challenging turns around the County Kildare track. Collier has fitted a gearbox from a scrap Sierra, but it's not expected to last. Look out for Brendan Donegan, the first round winner, off the back row with our onboard camera.
That's the view Donegan's getting at the moment, but up front Collier has made a beautiful start. A little bit of a scramble in the background, but look at Collier just away in the distance, and he's got Whelan all over the back of himself. But a nice break as they go out through this, what we call the tunnel. That's it there, a little curve camera showing just how quick they are, and they're going out to the really quick part of the circuit.
Spectacular action certainly, and David Collier certainly seems like he's in good shape. Is that car going to last though? That's the question.
But a gearbox like that shouldn't take the strain, but Collier, he knows, he's been around long enough. Having a look down the inside there, Donegan really going, being waved by there, somebody in trouble already as we go out into the country, over a slight dip, down into Tarzan 1, Tarzan 2, and you can see that Donegan at the moment, these guys new to the class this year, they are flying, and already Brendan has made himself, 4 or 5 places. But going back to that gearbox, it should last if he's careful. Keep your fingers crossed, David.
That's last year's champion Jonathan Taylor at the back of the field. Not much luck for him today, but up front Johnny Whelan is really harrying our leader, and I think we got to watch out for that blue car.
These two are the ones really. Whelan just mad keen, he's closed already, pulled back a couple of cars, and through paddock bend, the quickest one, letting it slide out, Tail stepping out there. My goodness me, Taylor, or I should say Whelan, really trying. Now he knows there's a dodgy gearbox up front, but he doesn't know how good or how bad, but he's going to keep him under all that pressure. A bad start actually from David Kidd. He's dropped to 9th, but beginning to claw his way back up again.
Johnny Whelan down the outside into the first corner. Can he challenge? Not quite this time, and closing up right behind him is Jonathan Files in the Indigo car, but he slows.
Just Files in trouble on the outside there, just missed by John Keeney, who's got an onboard camera on board, and you can see everybody, oh goodness me, Turley tries the outside to avoid him, unfortunately catches Keeney, and that looks the end of a race now. Again, smoke billowing there from Turley's car. I think it's just the bodywork rubbing away, but these guys are oblivious to that, because that all happened in the background, and it's still, there's Turley, you'll see all that smoke. Keeney was knocked out, I think, we'll tell you that in a minute, and there is Files' stranded car. I'm not sure, it looks like a gearbox problem or a drive problem, because it's not going anywhere. Meanwhile, down in Tarzan, you can see all hell is breaking loose. Up they go through the gears. Collier still flying, Declan.
Absolutely, and Brendan Donegan was the big winner there in that schmozzle. We saw him jink to the left. He managed to avoid Jonathan Files, and he got past Turley and Keeney, a daring manoeuvre, and he's certainly making hay.
You can see just how tight the circuit, even on the big extension on that's the most beautiful corner. Out they come, really, really quick it is. One of the Donegan brothers there in the background, that's David up into that 3rd place, but Johnny Whelan hasn't given up yet, but he still can't just get that close. Now Johnny's got to settle down a little, use all the road. Don't forget, the man in front is the one trying to watch his mirror. He's using the tight line, the inside. Johnny should have the quick line. He should be able to get on his bumper, through the funnel and out to this parabolica.
These two former Formula Ford racers, Collier and Whelan, certainly know each other of old, and they'll be up to their old tricks. They'll know exactly what they're about, but they've got the two Donegan brothers chasing behind, menacing behind. Let's see what develops.
You can see Whelan trying all the old lines, out to the outside, out to the inside, to try and put him off. Big puff of smoke there as he catches himself on the grass, and look at Whelan coming into the S's, but Collier turning in nicely just over the curbs. They're not upsetting the car too much, and surprise, surprise, the man from the back of the grid is actually up into 4th place. What a drive from Brendan Donegan.
And closing on his brother. We'll see if there's much brotherly love there, whether David Donegan will let him by without a fight.
No, I don't think these two are out for each other, and puts it out on the grass, and that's a mistake. Is that the mistake Johnny Whelan wanted? Get him out, get him unsettled on the grass, turning in close in the background. But look, you can see the battle in the background, but unfortunately this is where it's all happening at the moment. Collier still in there, second part of the S's, locking that left back wheel there. Not a major problem, but losing time, he's in big trouble. Poor old Collier, that puff of smoke might have been in trouble. Got a wheel up on the curb. I'd say it could be gearbox problem, and through goes Whelan, but he's still on the board. Maybe just missed a gear.
Whelan's got the lead that he wanted, but he leaves a hole down into the final corner. David Collier doesn't need to be asked again, and he retakes the lead almost immediately. Johnny must have thought he had it for the day there.
I think he just missed a gear and possibly thought, well, that's it, he's gone again, but then he has to do it all over again, down that outside line, get it in. Meanwhile, while these two are falling over each other, the Donegan brothers are on the way, but they are fighting amongst themselves, but not just enough to lose contact with the leaders. So it's still David from Brendan, as I think our curb camera went for a swim that time.
Des Cal certainly taking a tight line there through the tunnel. That's not an easy place to go. He's still with us, but look at this. We're in car with Brendan Donegan. He's right on the tail of Johnny Whelan. So now Johnny's not only going for the lead, but he's got to look at the guys behind him.
We're hearing that David must have missed a gear. Something happened. Brendan got alongside, gets it out. He's up into this third place now. So this is a super drive. All the way from 12th place to third. Can he do anything about these two? They're really at it. Smart man at sit back for a while, let them at it for a while and see if they make a nonsense and then have a dive. But Whelan at the moment, watching the tail end of Collier's car, but Donegan definitely, since he shook off David, making inroads right on Whelan's boot.
Collier's still out there in the lead. He must be just wondering how long this car is going to last. No sign of any problems at the moment. Is he going to make it?
All these puffs of smoke you see is where the back wheels are locking up. Fiberglass body shells on these tubular frame chassis, like a single seat. But David driving great at the moment, just keeping that inside door locked. Donegan at the moment, just giving him a little tap. Is he in trouble again? He's getting down the outside. Have we a problem? Lovely move, but can he make it stick for the second part of the S's? Donegan, though, tries it all around the outside. Beautiful manoeuvre there. Johnny had to have a move at Collier, but by doing that, slowed himself down. And through goes Brendan Donegan into second place, but they're side by side, the two Donegans at it now. Maybe we'll have them three abreast.
The carousel is Collier's Waterloo again. He's slow out of there, and Brendan Donegan's now up into the lead incredibly. But look at Collier down the inside again. The same thing that he did to Whelan. He doesn't need a second invitation. If there's any hole there in that final corner, he'll fill it.
Oh, Johnny looking down that inside. I don't think Donegan saw him. He came over too quick to close the door. If he did, it was a bit bold, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Locking the wheel there, he just came across, didn't realise that Johnny had got the slingshot, but that scrape on the wall again, you'll see him, he just comes straight across. I don't think he's even seen him there. Big bang on the wall. That'll wake Johnny up, but unfortunately bodywork in against the tires. We're back up there. What a move from young Collier.
I don't think Johnny knew what hit him, but it was first Brendan and then the wall, and the smoke billowing out of his car. That's going to be rubbing on a tyre. You wonder if it's going to be affecting him later in the race. We'll see.
You can see Brendan Donegan is where he wanted to be, all the way from the back of the grid. Collier in that second place. Whelan now must be putting him off a little bit. The noise inside the car, we definitely making the tail stepped out just that bit, and up gets David Donegan now into that third place. Yes, when the tail, they're really stepping out, and unfortunately that is Collier gone for the pits, is it? Well, gearbox must be gone, Declan.
Where's our former leader? He's gone. It has to be the gearbox. That problem, that Achilles heel, has finally put paid to his chances. A brave attempt to tough it out for the full race, but that's the end of Collier.
It makes for good racing for the future. Now let's see, what can Whelan do? Smoke still billowing when the car leans over there onto that brick wheel. But what a surprise and what a result for these Donegan brothers. Again, new to this class, and this is what this sort of class, again, he steps it out. And when I say steps it out, he really steps it out. Down the hill, you can see them out onto the edge, and this isn't doing him any good with Whelan in the background.
A 1-2 for County Meath, but David Donegan is all over the curbs. He's really stepping it out. Whelan has gathered himself up. He's got himself together, and he's got to run down the inside, going towards the first corner.
They're at it again, but this time he saw him coming, didn't close the door that much, and he gets back into that second place, but they swap over. Who'll be the latest on the break? Just catches that back wheel, spins Johnny out. 50-50, let's put it down to that.
50-50, I don't know what Johnny Whelan would say about that, but David Donegan absolutely stood still in the middle of that corner. He gathered it all up and he's got away, and he's the one chasing his brother.
When you get down the straight that way, you don't leave the door that wide open. You can leave it half open, but you leave a big gap like that, two of them could have driven. He's come in now and he's lost the brain as well as everything else, but not to worry. Spinning it on the grass, a frustration rate, but I'm telling you, Johnny's day will come. This has made this class himself and the Donegans and Collier superb motor racing.
Nothing going right for Johnny Whelan today. Will he ever get that win? Well, certainly he's, David Kidd managed to get by there, but it's the Donegans that are making hay today. They're the ones. We're in car with David Donegan, but the winner, Brendan Donegan, followed by his brother. John Keeney got up to 5th place, and Kidd was the one ahead of Whelan. So it was a double for Brendan Donegan after 2 rounds of the Dunlop Championship, but as you can see from the latest standings, Johnny Whelan has moved ahead after his maiden win at the MG Car Club's meeting.
Brendan Donegan on the front row, a superb start with John Whelan beside him. A full car like in the background there in 3rd place was Files in the Indigo car. Look at this, on board with John Morris, looking forward. We've always got another camera looking out the back of John Whelan's car, but Johnny in there, keeping tucked in, keeping that inside line. Meanwhile, on the outside, the other blue car, a little bit nudging and banging there. Turley slotting his way in there. Declan, these guys very close.
Yes, Jonathan Taylor, the current champion, the reigning RT2000 champion, just giving David Donegan a bit of a nudge. It's hectic in there, but we've got John Whelan, who's just hanging on to 2nd place. He didn't make a great start, but he's just managing to be in 2nd place as they work their way through this first lap.
Oh, and Turley sticking the tail right out over the curb there as they go down this very, very quick back straight. I'd say about 125, maybe 130 if you get out of that chicane right, but a very slow gear change. You'll see John Morris had it now down into 2nd, and watch this, into first he goes, turns it in, and then up front is the 2 there. That's Donegan and Files having a coming together, and that's one of the quick men that we'll have to watch for him.
Jonathan Files, one of the stars of Dunlop RT2000 Racing, being nerfed out of the way by David Donegan, but it's his brother Brendan that's leading, and he's dragging John Whelan away with him. But look at the right-hand door, look at the driver's door of John Whelan, it's flapping loose, and that's got to be causing him concern.
It's very warm here at Kirsten, but I don't think it's that warm. He doesn't need that air condition. That's a big distraction from him. Meanwhile, back with John Morris, sitting there watching up the road at the champion of last year, Jonathan Taylor. But these two begin to pull away slightly. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down that much. John Whelan should open here on through the right, and a tail out there. That's a little slower, but these two Donegan lads, new to this class, arrived last year, set the world on fire. Great car control.
Certainly the Donegans are proving the stars of the series, and Mark Turley's prophecy that the pole position man can get a break and get away, and while the other cars are squabbling, is proving correct. And we see John Morris going very wide there, and that's the reason. Mark Turley was up his inside going into the hairpin. John had to make room for him, and Turley's 1 place up.
Yeah, I just went in that little bit too late. If you don't get the power on the car, the weight, the whole bit wants to understeer. You can see that Turley just popped it in there, so it's now Turley right up in that position, but still Whelan in 2nd place, still Jonathan Taylor in 3rd, and you've got Turley now being followed closely there by John Morris. But a good move by Turley, not the man you'd expect to be down in that position. Usually sets the world on fire. Just getting the power to weight, I think, with these cars. He's put on a few pounds in last year. Maybe just to get that balanced out somewhere.
Italian saloon champion Mark Turley certainly adapting to these RT2000s, and so also adapting is John Whelan. He's running in a very comfortable 2nd place, but his door is flapping and it doesn't seem to be causing him concern. His powers of concentration are impressive.
You and I know now Johnny's a bit of a flapper himself, never mind the door. Morris coming down into the braking area, that very slow gear change. Seems to go in a little deep for my liking, leaving that inside door open. You can see Turley getting the slingshot out. Whelan at the moment not making inroads, but not letting Donegan away. Through a very quick left-handed Whelan through there. You can watch in the background, watch just for the nose of Turley's car, under braking. We're looking at the back, and that's a Smoky. Is that Taylor? That's Taylor's car, I think, going off on the grass.
Plumes of smoke from Jonathan Taylor's car. It just locks up and he slides off onto the left-hand side even before he got to the braking area at Colonial. If we just look at that, there's Jonathan running away from his car. Just a cursory glance back at it. There's not much he can do about it today.
I'd be surprised if there's lots of oil flags out the next time these guys come through that left-hander called Deaders after the start, finished about 125 miles an hour through the chicane with John Morris. Clipped the right-hand side on the way and the left-hand side on the way out. Out they go through. He's been dropped at the moment. They're coming up that long back straight in Kirkson, the quickest part really of the old circuit as it was before they had the chicane put in. Whelan in second place. Now let's watch out for these oil flags. We don't want to get somebody else caught out. But at the moment, Donegan has pulled a few car lengths and Turley's beginning to make a move.
Turley's working his way up onto the boot lid of Johnny Whelan, but he's a little bit of work to do. And John looks quite comfortable, although he just can't quite inch into the gap that Brendan Donegan has got. The first two cars squirmed their way on the oil, left by Jonathan Taylor's car the lap before, but they have it well under control.
Wide there, Turley getting through, but gets a good slingshot. You can see that green flag in the background there. That's to tell you that it's clear to run. No more oil. Out onto the back straight. Nice little move there. Donegan just beginning to inch away in over the curve. Nothing too spectacular, using every bit of the road. And Whelan with the flapping door in again. Quick through there, but again, door possibly be backfagged for it unless everybody in the pit lane's looking the other way, but on the straight obviously it's going to stay closed. It's just through those left-handers with the marshals be on the phones.
John is on his own. I mean, he looks pretty comfortable and he's even maybe perhaps inching in onto the leader, so you'd have to say it's not causing a problem for other competitors or even for the competitor himself. Oh, and we see David Kidd not getting it quite right down at the hairpin. He slides his way onto the grass and slides his way back onto the track. Not ideal there, David.
Pity that, because he had a look at the inside line, got it all right, but just got up on his toes to get braking. She just broke away and possibly to try and avoid running into back to someone else. So now that's pushed him well back. Turley now beginning to have a real look, if you can see there, and John Keeney back in the background as well. All these cars beginning to scramble around, but we're back with the leader. That's Donegan out over the curves. Whelan, then Turley. And a long gap now to the fourth place man. Remember, we've lost Jonathan Taylor, so it should be John Morris. That's him coming through there. Now John in a lonely fourth place at the moment, but there's a long way to go.
There certainly is, and as we're looking down there, we see that it's John Keeney that's chasing John Morris for that fourth place position. But right up on Johnny Whelan's boot lid is Mark Turley, but he spins it out at the hairpin, and just as he does, John Whelan has gone into pit lane, the new pit lane here at Kirkeston. It must be something to do with the door. He's been black flagged because of that problem. He won't be happy about that.
This is a bit like Formula 1. If he can get in there, get the door closed and back out again, he could actually stay in front of Turley. We'll bring you up to date, but that's Turley out there. That there is John Morris, and he has now been chased. So Turley got back onto the track. Morris is behind him, and John Keeney is making inroads on Morris.
While Brendan Donegan now has practically, the length of the back straight of the lead. He's in very comfortable position. Turley's now finds himself in second place with John Morris chasing him, and John Keeney just behind them.
All this time, we did say at the start, the Indigo car of young files beginning to make inroads on everybody. That's Morris there, sitting on the boot lid of Turley. A good recovery. Now, in fairness, he did his full 180 degrees. By the time his brain worked out which way he was facing and got himself going, he didn't actually lose a place. So he's sitting in second with Morris up on third, with John Keeney now beginning to light up his Dunlop car in over the curb. You can see just how quick Turley's getting out. Quick look in the mirror from John there to see if the second John Keeney, that is where is it?
John Morris certainly has Mark Turley in his sights, but let's watch out for the progress of Jonathan Files. We saw him nerfed off on the first lap, or just completing the first lap by David Donegan. He's working his way up. There he is, up inside John Morris on the exit of the hairpin.
Side by side, yeah, sorry Declan, being side by side. I didn't think he'd made it. I thought he put a wheel out on the grass, but obviously on the flyer, like, you can just lift that. He's pulled a car length already. Now John, I think, although he left the door open, he still went in that little bit too deep, didn't get around the back. He's braking that little bit early. Now watch Files just clips that curb and buries it.
Jonathan Files is absolutely racing his way through the field here. We just saw the abandoned car of Des Cahill there on the left as Jonathan Files locks up a right front tyre going into Fisherman's. He's the committed racer out there at the moment.
There's our leader right now, Turley getting through, and here he is. Look at him again. This is the Morris Files battle, up into third place from last. Remember, when he spun that time, he was facing the wrong way. Yellow flag there. Nothing no one can do down there. Somebody off. That's probably for Cahill's car on the outside, which is a bit silly. They should push it out of the way, take in the flags, and let the lads get on with the racing. So Turley sitting in what looks to be a comfortable position and a tail out there from Files, but I don't think Morris is going to do anything. It's down to Files to try and catch Turley now.
And then we see a little bit further behind, John Whelan is making inroads onto Greg Murphy and David Kidd. He's swarming all over them, trying to make some progress, get some more points towards the championship. Of course, he's the championship leader going into this race, but Brendan Donegan, he's going to go score well today.
All the sake of two screws and a door latch, he's dropping all the way back. But watch this again, side by side there, Whelan as they get down into that very quick start. Filed through in that third place. Let's see, not far off the back of Turley. Turley not exactly lighting the place up today, sitting in a good second place. I don't think he can do anything at Donegan, but look at this young fella. Well, he's not so young anymore. When he came racing first, we used to call him young. He's getting old now. Anything over 18, when you look at the young lads out there, they're getting old. Turley through there, right over that curve he should be. He's getting it a little wide.
Files is on the podium in third place. It's a tremendous comeback drive, but it's not over yet. And John Whelan has got past Greg Murphy. He's chasing David Kidd, and they've got John Keeney on their side. It's a hell of a four-way battle there.
Yes, but these guys up the front, you can see still Files chucking in right over the grass there. Not only the concrete, and Morris getting the same thing, getting it out of shape. Then with John Keeney, then David Kidd, and Whelan being balked in this sense that obviously was a quicker man, but there's not much between them. David Kidd is definitely not going to move over some guy just because he left his door open.
John Whelan being circumspect, he's going to get a points finish today. Brendan Donegan secure in the lead. There's little the other runners can do about him. It's a serene progress towards another victory.
This is a superb form of motor racing here in Ireland. It's fiberglass on a tube, fiberglass body kit on a tubular chassis, right? Well done. It uses all Ford running gear, about 200 brake horsepower from the C-Tech engine, 4-speed box, and the way God meant cars to be, the engine on the front wheels and the drive in the back. But look at John Keeney, David Kidd and Whelan. They could be on a tow rope.
Whelan just watching this battle. I don't think he really wants to get involved in a back Marcus battle. He's got points, but now we see that Files is right on Turley's boot lid. He's down the inside into the hairpin. This is the final lap. Can he make this count?
He does indeed. He got him there. It looked fairly easy, but a great drive in second place. Mark Turley in third. The sick brother Donegan on the way through. I think John Whelan, John Morris getting in there with Keeney fifth.
That win for Donegan sees him take over the championship lead from Whelan. The rough and tumble of Dunlop RT2000 Racing invariably provides the best of tin top action at Mondello Park, and this week is no exception. To add extra spice, the grid is reversed for this week, but expect to see the top contenders come storming through over 15 laps.
And that grid is based on the result from the last time. So we've a Donegan on the pole position. We've also a Donegan, that's him, just coming up into line there on the reverse. That's Brendan at the back, and we have Dave in the front. So a big Donegan sandwich beside him. Oh, a little jump, maybe not beside him. A very nervous Greg Murphy, who seems to miss a gear there. Filesy in the middle with the onboard, but look at this, a gaggle of RTs into that first corner.
It looked like David Donegan might have jumped the start there, but he gained no advantage, so no problem there. But look at Jonathan Files. He's racing up through him. He's behind Mark Turley. There's a bit of a twitch there. How did they hold it?
Old Tubby Turley trying to push Filesy onto the grass there, but it didn't work. But he lost another place. Maybe he's got a problem. And the blue one there in the middle, that's Tubby. No, sorry, it's Mark Turley. But the blue one there in the middle is the very fast starting Johnny Whelan. We're out the back, the quickest part of the circuit. Coming down to the first of those right-handers. You can see the lads, that's David Kidd. Made a good start from the second row. A little nudge there, I think, from Filesy. Out on the dirt, tails sticking themselves out. Beautiful little motor cars, real racing cars.
We're in car with the fourth place man, Mark Turley. He's just behind David Kidd in third place. But look at John Whelan ahead. He's harrying David Donegan for the lead. And there it is. Mark Turley's up the inside of David Kidd. He's into a podium position. And Johnny Whelan, he's really making inroads on David Donegan at the front.
A serious big long slide there from JW. Flapper we christened the last day. Remember his door was flapping. Now watch him. What'll he do? No, not the inside. Up that outside line. It's a quick one. Turn around the back. Seems to have the legs of Donegan letting the tail out. You don't want to do that. Turley there sitting thinking, take each other off, lads. We'll get a nice win here. Down that short straight it is now Mondello when they're on the intermediate circuit. Out the outside goes Whelan, late on the brakes, but he's turned across to the back and good move, gets the grip, and he's up into the lead. Now Turley's can't let them away. They're going in there side by side, but Turley's going to lose that if he doesn't go.
A classic wide going in and tight coming out of the corner. He just made that. It looked absolutely textbook. So now John Whelan, he's been the front runner this year and he's got out where he needs to be, out in front. But now David Donegan is in the Donegan sandwich. He's got David Donegan in front and Brendan Donegan behind.
Whoa, now that is it, but this is a really good drive. Remember, Brendan started on the very last lap, but these guys are really quick now. Straight across the grass there, side by side with Turley as they go down into the what I call the paddock, the nicest bend. Oh, and a tap there from Mr. T. Waking up, you'll see it again, out over the curbs, but a good drive this from young Donegan. Well, he's not so young. Brendan up from the back. Turley now really in trouble. The two white card, one the Navan Haar, one the Drock of the Haar, so we don't know which is which at the moment. They're hard to distinguish, but Brendan's got by up there, but out front Whelan is still making it all the way. Turley again hasn't got the legs in, but he's sitting waiting on some action to happen.
Turley in fourth place, he'll be fuming. It was David's mistake that actually allowed Brendan to get ahead. The momentum was lost by Turley. He's now chasing in fourth place. The two Donegans are second and third, but John Whelan, he's starting to get ahead. Now look at Jonathan Files. He's in fifth place and closing on our other camera car, Mark Turley.
Well, they're fabulous little motor cars. They're not little at all. They're a big motor car. They're like a Capri that handles and has good brakes. Down into this double one again. Tarzan one. What a name to call. We've got to do something about these names. Short dash, then across again. Turley. Filesy right on the bumper there to Turley. Looking at up the inside. Oh, brave man to go up the inside of that lad and the way he's thinking. Out over the curb, you can see the Donegan lad losing a lot of time. Stepping the tail out. And again, Turley's like waltzing Matilda. All the time. Other Donegan's getting away from them.
Sweet as a nut, Jonathan Files up the inside there. Mark Turley just a bit ragged, not happy with the amount of tarmac he was provided on the new extension here at Mondello Park, but he's still right with Jonathan Files. He's not going to give up on it. This is the battle for fifth place, but up front, John Whelan's not getting too far ahead.
Locking a right front wheel there, Filesy again. Turley, although he doesn't have the legs, the boys seem to be, maybe they're taking a chance. It's a warm day, maybe his tyres are going off. You'll notice the cars begin to step out a little. Out they come. We jump ahead to lap 9. Donegan, from Donegan there, that's second and third. Where are you gone, Johnny? He's out the front so far you can't see him. But this is the battle. Can they do anything about him? That is the man from the back of the grid, Brendan there, still in third place. Looking at the back of David, and David began to sneak away, and now Turley began to drop back. So the man that might upset the apple cart is young Filesy.
Smoke pouring out of the car of Brendan Donegan in third place there. I wonder if he's got a problem. Extremely hot today. These cars take incredible abuse from these drivers. No quarter given or expected, and it'll be interesting to see will all the cars make it through.
Just as we said there, the tires beginning to go off. Turley out on the dirt. Files begin to slow a little, but at the moment, the old man out the front, he's not that old again. I keep calling them old, but they are. This is a senior partnership, this whole racing thing. All the guys are well over 21 plus fat, so they're good motors. Filesy still motoring on. We seem to, Donegan doesn't seem to have the go he had before. Filesy beginning to pull a little bit on him. So it's still Brendan Donegan there. And we wait now, let me get this straight. We've lost one. There's one going backwards, straight over the dirt. We're losing the Donegan that's crawling back. So it's still Whelan out the front. And that's from Brendan Donegan. So it's David that's moving backwards. Has he got a problem?
Okay, so our leadership at the moment is led by John Whelan from David Donegan, Brendan Donegan in third place, and fourth place Jonathan Files just with the flapping bonnet lid there. He's just ahead of Mark Turley, still all to play for.
And all the time Whelan out the front. Watch Filesy, can he do anything about it? Again, one of the very, very quick parts of the circuit. There's somewhere you just love down through that little tunnel. Out he goes, out to the left. Files haven't looked down the inside. Will he make it a locked wheel on the left back there? of Donegan's car. Files, he backs off things well. There wasn't really that much room, and all this time Turley beginning to wake up now to that double apex. In quick load, and again that smoke you mentioned, Declan, beginning to puff out the back of that Donegan car. Our leader, Whelan, well on his way, but this man hasn't given up.
David Donegan still right with him. Jonathan Files had the door unceremoniously closed by Brendan Donegan just a few moments ago. Mark Turley closing in there, but Files is not going to give up on another puff of smoke. Surely Brendan Donegan's in big trouble here. Files is pouncing. He's ready to pounce like a vulture. He's looking for a podium spot.
As I said, oh, look at how far Files can put that car out and not actually lose it. Those little puffs of smoke, as we said, it's a very, very warm day. Oh, can he step it out? But when you go that far, our man Turley ready to pounce. But he seems to, I don't know whether he lost propulsion forward, but he seems to have slowed terribly. A little bit of a misfire there. Donegan over the line. I think his race has run. That smoke, I think it was a motor going there, Declan.
That's Brendan Donegan. We're not all that surprised. That car has been crying enough for quite a while. We saw Jonathan Files slowing as well in his Indigo car. So there's cars all over the place. Is anyone going to make the checkered flag?
One of the warmest days I've been at Mondello, but doesn't seem to have a problem up front. Plenty of nice cold air in the front there. Plenty of hot air coming out the back of this motor car. Now let's watch out for David Gunn, second place man. He's pulling away at the moment, Johnny Whelan. So we're on board with Turley now, or is it young Files? Filesy it is. He's having a look at the back of Turley. Is he in trouble? We heard a little bit of a misfire. I haven't sure whether it's cleared itself or not, but no, sounds rough.
It definitely sounds rough, but look ahead. It's David Donegan now. He's slowed. Jonathan Files is actually catching him, and yet he's going incredibly slowly. So there's a problem for David Donegan in the draw to hire car. He's gone outside him. Turley is up into second place. Jonathan Files just momentarily in third place. He's slowing to a halt. He's made a late decision to go for pit lane, and he's been followed in by David Donegan.
It's great, like he thought, no, come on, if it fires, it won't go to pit lane the very last minute. Looks as if the Donegan lad has a problem, whether with the steering or a back wheel. He's shaking the car there to see if he can have a look, pointing to the back of the car. This is what on board with Files. They're having a look underneath. Having a look, that's a good way of checking. Just give it a tap. What do you reckon? Is he still on board? Go on back out.
The teams descend, and meanwhile John Keeney in the Dunlop car, he's up into third place. Mondello Park stalwart, of course, won the first race here. Everyone knows that. He's had a sort of a lean period recently. Definitely needs this podium position. He's worked his way up into third place. Of course, Mark Turley is now the man chasing. That's our leader, John Whelan, as we're joined John on his final lap. He's been a winner earlier on in this series, and now he looks as if he's cruising to yet another win and the championship lead.
Well, this is done well, because we've called him Flapper before. I've seen him lead races. I've seen him being second, backed him for the lead, and sometimes he throws it away. Oh, we're anxious. Done it all right this time, and well done. Nicely on the brakes. Has saved the car. I don't think he's put too much pressure on it. Driving nicely. A lot of tail in one place, and there's your result. Whelan from Mark Turley, John Keeney in third, Greg Murphy from the front row in fourth, and first time for Rod McGovern in fifth.
Back in the lead again, thank God. Leading by about 8 points, two championship rounds to go, so all to work for. As the old Abel song goes, the winner takes it all, so between my Brendan and myself today, whoever can do it on the day is going to.
It's an absolutely level fight, isn't it? There's nobody carrying any ballast.
No, the cars are very even. You see all year. I mean, they're so even. It's incredible. It's really down to the drivers, you know, as how it's going to come.
Brendan, on this side of the camp, must be a few nerves too.
Oh yeah, there is some. Yeah, the usual racing nerves anyway. Yeah, so see how it goes on the day anyway.
You came out as single-seaters like Johnny. It's been a tremendous class, this.
It has been a great class. Yeah, it's a lovely car to drive, and they're very similar to a single-seater to drive. They're a fantastic car, a great class. We had a good year, great year now.
Well, all I can say, gentlemen, let's give it a good clean fight, eh?
No problem.
And surprise, surprise, after a very wet practice, on pole position is Brendan Donegan. The outside, Whelan gets the best start of all, but Donegan really bogged down on Jonathan Taylor there, up the inside into second place. We're looking out the back of Whelan's car. John Morris, making 3 abreast there. And Donegan comes through and just catches the back of Morris's car. Cal, who had a great 6th place qualifying. Donegan off there. Off goes Cal, but you can see Files is also off. So that's really ruined the start of it and his championship hopes.
So poor Brendan Donegan from pole, from first to last, from hero to zero. And out in the front, his arch rival there, Johnny Whelan, very comfortably in the lead at the moment. Well, not comfortably, because you're never comfortable in an RT2000.
And Jonathan Taylor there coming under a lot of pressure. You can see in the background a little touch of nudging and banging there, but Whelan way out there as they come back into the quick spot. And look at the gap. Will it have changed? There was a little bit of argy-bargy between newcomer McGovern and Jonathan Taylor. Whelan 2, Tarzan 1, Tarzan 2, and it is indeed McGovern up into that 2nd place, and Donegan, the second of the Donegans, really having a route. So David Donegan up into 3rd place.
And we're waiting and waiting and waiting for Brendan Donegan. We know he's got back on the track, and there he comes in a very battered car indeed, and shedding a little bit of weight as he goes through Tarzan 2. But look at Whelan, he's right on the limit.
And watch for the smoke in the background. That is where the tire is rubbing the bodywork on Jonathan Taylor's car. But McGovern up there into that 2nd place. A lot of smoke. Kid having a look at the orange car, having a look at that inside line. You've also got Mark Turley there, and these are really all spreading out. Oh, young Greg Murphy spinning it and getting caught there by Des Cal right in the wrong spot.
And there's Taylor's car. We're looking at that. A lot of smoke coming out of it. It's just probably tire rubber. And inside goes Collier. Collier goes up a place past Kidd. We're back with Brendan Donegan, who's just negotiating the last corner there and getting out of the way of Murphy.
Remember Brendan in charge for the championship. What a quick off the road for Mark Turley. Misses out through the gravel trap, keeps it on the grass, or does he? Just the back wheels just catching there. And that's down to one of the quickest parts of the circuit. But don't think you're going anywhere. He may just make it. Meanwhile, let's have a look. Kidd having a look down the inside there of Jonathan Taylor's car. A lot of smoke there, locking the wheels there. David Kidd in the Summit Engineering car having a super drive, outbrakes him. And Collier up the inside. That was a bit naughty, pushing him out onto the edge. That was a bit naughty again. And unfortunately, he's on his roof. Oh dear, oh dear.
Jonathan Taylor on his roof. We see the car on the left as we go past, and Brendan Donegan's car, who's making up a lot of ground, it has to be said, moving ahead a little bit. And a dogfight here between Collier, who had been in the wars there, Ken Files, and it's nice to see the Dunlop car of John Keeney very competitive today.
Well, something just missed, either he missed a gear or something's gone off sound, because that seemed too easy for Collier just to stream by, and Files just driving around the outside. Something happened to John's car coming out of that top motor-fit corner into the left-hand. To look at Files just zooms by him, so it's between Files and Collier. And the pace car is out, I presume because of Taylor's car being on its roof in a danger position. So everybody's going to bunch up. So Whelan's going to have to do it all over again, Johnny.
So Johnny Whelan won't like to have seen that at all. He really had got the advantage there. Rod McGovern in a very excellent 2nd place there, and 3rd David Donegan, who'll be trying to get in there and maybe undo some of the damage that his brother Donegan, Brendan had. Pace car off, here we go again. Johnny Whelan hot on the gas as they come up into Bardol there.
10 out of 10 McGovern. The first time I've seen somebody really use the pace car. He was right on the bump of the wheel, giving them no leeway, and he's pulling it out. And these two have actually got the jump on the 3rd place man, but I don't think you get a jump on the Donegans. Look at this, he's coming in on the brakes. We're out wide, driving very well, and Kidd there in the orange car. Collier, who had that banging match with Jonathan Taylor, and look at Files giving it everything he can in the background, and still McGovern pushing for that 1st place. 10 out of 10.
That Collier now up into is at 4th place, just ahead of Kidd, and then Files, and then that was Brendan Donegan. What a recovery drive this is.
David making a little mistake, they're locking it all up. Files, he locking it all up, but as you say, Alan, what a recovery drive. Donegan already up there, side by side, Kidd and Files, and this is playing right in the hands of the rest of them. The green flag there, I didn't see the yellow, but that means they can go and race. And look at Donegan just cutting the curb. He's watching the 2 guys in front. Don't even think about getting into that gap.
So it's Johnny Whelan leading. In 2nd place, Rod McGovern, a comparative newcomer to RT2000, and doing extremely well. third, just coming into picture now, David Donegan. Then we have Collier, then Kidd, then Files, and then Brendan Donegan. And this is some drive. We're on board with him now.
Oh, bits and pieces hanging off. He's in over the curb. Files, he's just getting a little bit of oversteer. Both them doing. Actually, watch him work at the wheel of this thing. He's going to have a look up the inside. Files knows he's there. If he's going to close the door, he better close it quick, because this man will take any gap you leave. And he's just got out a little wide, Filesy. They're coming back into one of the quickest corner paddock. Then he puts the nose and Files closed the door. Out on the grass he goes, and he didn't come off the best. And now let's see, does Donegan get early on the brakes and try to come around the back from over the curb? He does. Will he have the power? He just bucks it down the gear and on he goes. And this is bonnet flapping there on Files' car. Will he make it down into the very tight hairpin? Have a look at the inside, and as late as he can on the brakes. There's the next man, Kidd.
Slammed it down again. They're using the gears to brake, and gearbox is not the strongest part of these motor cars. If you're wondering what sort of cars they are, the fact is that they're purpose-built for racing. They're a fiberglass body on a space frame with a 2-litre Z-Tech Ford engine. They're extremely quick, they're extremely lightweight, and they're extremely good entertainment.
You can see that Jonathan Files haven't given up, lost a little bit of space there, wheeling through the first part of the S's, then McGovern, Donegan locking that wheel, Collier through, then Kidd, very wide line, and look just how tight he can get it in, but something there, a little thing rubbing on the body again, much like Taylor. Unfortunately, the problem with these cars, a slight tap. Beautiful run there from Johnny, but these guys are on the absolute limit, and they are racing cars.
And they're very, very sideways. That would seem to indicate, and is that a bit of smoke actually filling up in the cockpit now? Brendan Donegan's car looks like it, and Files goes through again. And I would suggest that both the rear tyres in these cars are absolutely shot. Look at them, grabbing up Sidlock, trying to keep them in the right direction.
Up the hill out of Tarzan, you saw Taylor's car on the left-hand side there, having a look at the inside of the S again. When you touch the curb, and it wants to sit out and step away from you. And when you do, whoa, quick wind of the wheel there straightens up. I hope that smoke isn't from under the bonnet. We're moving ahead to the S's. You can see Whelan still leads from David, and it's McGovern now in third place. So David Donegan has got up into that second place, and McGovern's been demoted, and Collier's looking with that third place. So Whelan through. Then we'll wait for David Donegan. A big gap, must be the tussle between the boys. Collier in fourth place, out in the country again, and he's beginning to pull away. Now David could upset Mr. Whelan's champion's position. Not that I'd say a brother would do anything for a brother, would they?
Well, who knows? But they're both phenomenal. They've both come out of Formula V, and they've gone into this RT2000 class, the Dunlop RT2000 class last year, and they've been right at the front ever since. They're fabulous car control. They're great to watch. And here is David Donegan now, pulling away a little bit from the third place man, but I don't think he's really closing that gap. And Johnny Whelan, it's looking very good for Johnny at the moment. But look at Collier, he certainly is closing on Rod McGovern.
Collier at the moment just heading in there and having a look at that third place. We can tell you that the leader, John Whelan, has just put in the fastest lap with a new lap record of 152.7. But you mentioned Dunlop there, and they have supported this class from the start when it was a little dodgy, not a lot of entries, and 10 out of 10. This is the best motor racing in Mondello at the moment.
Collier trying round the long way. It's going to be hard to do it that way, but he could get a good slingshot up the inside now. He's taking it wide there. And as they go out into the old part of this, is the full international circuit, long way round. Whelan there, look at that gap. David Donegan in second place, and then there's great tussle for third.
Collier still weaving backwards and forwards, taking up the inside. It's a long way around the outside of the S's. At the moment, Whelan, as steady as it comes, holding the car nice and steady, no sideways on, no. You watch him at work inside the cockpit here, and you can see just how bumpy it is. Just like these champ cars or NASCARs in the States. There is Donegan still smoking away, and John Keeney about to pass him now. John with a down on powered engine is going to bite him.
Sadly, it's looking all over for Brendan Donegan. He's moved right back down the field again now, but here's the man who's heading towards the championship, the Dunlop RT2000 Championship, a really big prize in Irish motorsport. Former Formula Ford racer turned saloon man with huge success, his biggest day of his life. Not such a good day for Johnny Files.